second.
What do you want? You want to record?
Yes. We miss you at the video.
ما في لو ما سبعة وسبعين صبايا 15 سنة Okay, gentlemen, please pay attention. We are supposed to embark upon. Yes, please. Please have your seats. And please pay your attention. So, as I said, we are ready to embark upon, I would say, a tricky journey, which I would try my best to make as much interesting for you as possible. Would have a large number of, a long list of drugs rather, but we would try to give you only the few pertinent examples, and those examples which are part of your prescribed drug list. And I hope you already have it on Moodle. Do you have the drug list?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah? There is a suggested drug list which you should be able to go through. Okay, you would see how much is the length of the list and how few we are considering for you guys at this stage. Okay. So, oh yeah. If you want to eat something, please go out, finish it up, and come back. Okay. So cancer chemotherapy, this is the first lecture of the 2-lecture series. Okay. The next one will be the next week. That will be studied with a lot more information, but we will try to make foundation. And you know, a foundation is much important than the building itself. Because if the foundation is not solid, whatever you build upon it, it's going to fall down. Okay? So, we will be talking about the drugs which we can use to address the number 3 killer in the list. Okay? Cardiovascular diseases, no doubt, remain the foremost important in terms of the killing machine, the killing diseases in humans, and then all infectious diseases and parasitic diseases put together, and then comes the number of the turn of cancers. Please settle down. Okay, this is a WHO chart which shows you how much males and females around the globe succumb to various disorders. Okay, the most common killers for the humans. Okay, so we need to understand, and I hope by now you must have gone through introductory lectures on neoplasia. Okay, so what is a neoplasm, by the way? Yes, I would. What is the neoplasm?
New generation.
Growth disorder means a deficiency of growth hormone? No.
Uncontrollable growth of cells.
Sorry?
Genetic change.
Genetic mutation that cause uncontrollable growth of cells.
Uncontrolled growth of cells, okay? Is it different from acromegaly and gigantism, which also is growth of cells?
There is no genetic mutation.
Could be.
No,
But this is not. I mean, there is one critical difference between
No border.
The cells are
Okay. Settle down. So neoplasm is actually new growth. Okay, new growth, and the hallmark is lack of responsiveness to the normal growth control. Okay, we in our bodies have new growths all the time. All our cells grow. Okay, they divide, they grow. The older ones, they are removed from the system one way or the other. Okay, but all of them, they respond to the symphony. Okay, they respond to the not the growth hormone, but the growth factors. Okay, which are acting on different tissues to maintain the normal growth pattern. Okay, normal. Replenishing of the tissues, and it's part of the maintenance of the body. But if the responsiveness is lost, okay, then a tissue could form a mass of cells altogether could be different from the parent tissue, and the hallmark would be lack of responsiveness to the normal growth control. Okay. By origin, it could be from single germ layer or multiple. Multiple ones are called teratomas, and the single ones could be either a single colony, say a single race of the cells, we call them monoclonic, or it could be a mixture of races. Okay, so it becomes a pleomorphic. Sorry? Sorry? What is monoclonic? Okay. As I said, if you guys pay attention, then you will be able to understand with fewer repetitions. So, monoclonic a clone of cells is a group of cells, race of the cells, I would say, okay, which is sharing some common features. Okay, so a monoclonic means it originates from a single group of cells, okay, or a single type of cells, okay, and they resemble most of the times to their parent group. So it's a single race of cells. Okay, sorry.
Like most cancers.
Like most of the time, yes. Most of the cancers are monoclonic single germ layer cancers. Okay? They could be benign or malignant. A benign tissue, a benign neoplasm is one, though it is not that much responsive, but it is not, that much irresponsible. Yeah. Whereas the malignant one is not responsive at all or highly invading. Okay. So, based on this, you already know that signs of malignancy include higher rate of tissue growth with poor differentiation. Okay. And you know that there is a chance of invasion and metastasis. Okay? Invasion usually refers to the local invasion, and metastasis usually refers to the distant invasion. Okay? Invasion beyond the tissue boundaries to the far off places in body. And that the portals of dispersion are different. Could be blood, could be lymph, could be direct inoculation, etc., etc.
Implantation.
So this is an animation. Let's see. This is cytoplasm. This is nucleus, and you can see. I hope you can appreciate. This is a dark color nucleus with patches of darker areas representing heterochromatin and patches of lighter areas suggesting euchromatin. And you know the difference between the U and heterochromatin?
Yes, it depends on the synthesis. If there's the dark area, there's a synthesis.
So a darker staining part of the nucleus or heterochromatin is actually more condensed part of DNA, which is not active at that moment, okay? Whereas the lighter part is actually the active, maybe replicating DNA, which is taking part in one function or the other, or simply replicating itself. And this is the cytoplasm, this is the cell membrane. And you know that there are certain receptors in the cell membrane for certain growth factors, and then there is a long list of growth factors. We won't be going in that detail. So a growth factor, when binds to its receptor, it starts a second messenger cascade, okay, within the cytoplasm, which ultimately translocates to the nucleus and binds to its specific places where the regulatory control could be effective. So most of the chromatin then becomes active and lighter color. So an active cell has got a lighter stained nucleus. That's one of the reasons why. So the regulatory genes, which could be either of these four groups. So one is the proto-oncogenes, a number of them. They favor growth. Anti-oncogenes are the ones which actually are brakes, you know, the emergency brakes, for example. I mean, there is an accelerator which you press harder and harder to accel, and then there is a brake. Okay? So the brake is anti-oncogene, which suppress or inhibit growth to keep it under check. Okay? So this is retinoblastoma or P53, whatever. These are the two most important, but there are others as well. Apoptosis regulating genes like P53 again and BCL2. And apoptosis, you know, is the programmed cell death. Okay? And then there are DNA repair genes, which are actually house maintenance. You know, there is a break in the wall, they try to, you know, repair it. There is a bad window pan, they try to replace it, things like that. So the DNA repair genes actually repair whatever damage is inflicted on DNA and, you know, other nucleoproteins throughout the lifespan of the cell. Okay, so these are the four important groups of genes which together they form the orchestra. Okay, and they play a beautiful symphony to maintain the normal growth control. Okay, so what happens? Why there is genesis of cancer? You know that there are genetic mutations in either of these four groups of genes. Could be inherited, could be acquired, and then the result is an altered gene expression. I said altered. So altered could be, yeah, more or less, okay? So overexpression of proto-oncogenes or decreased expression of the tumor suppressor genes, for example, leads to uncontrolled growth, okay? And the uncontrolled growth leads to localized production of new growth, okay? That is the neoplasm. If it is malignant, it's a cancer, in layman term. So leads to tumor development, and it can invade and metastasize. During the course of tumor development, especially if the DNA repair genes are affected, you know what happens? More mutations, they add up, and they result in clonal diversification. So sometimes you see that a solid tumor or even a heterogeneous tumor, they share multiple, I would say they comprise of multiple ethnicities, for example, or multiple races of the cells. Okay, to begin with it was a single or few, then on the, with the passing time and with recurrence they accumulate more and more. Okay, so the secondary tumor, for example, could become different from the primary tumor. Okay, so this is all now well known. So now with this background, what we have to really catch hold of the problem. Okay, so let's see what approaches we have. First is let's get rid of the tumor. Okay? Reduce the mass, get it off as much as possible. I mean, try it. So, surgery.